Hello, White Sox fans. Well, it's finally happening. Almost. We're so close. Opening day is almost here, and the games are finally going to actually count and matter. And the other thing that's finally happening is I am finally getting to your bold predictions for the 2021 season. You guys left so many really fun comments. It's going to be really a blast to go through these. I will be right back right here tomorrow to go over the final spring training check-in, which in this case would be a spring training review and a look ahead to the first week of the Major League season. Pretty much all the roster moves have been announced, but I'm really going to get into that tomorrow in tomorrow's episode as we do one final spring training recap. But first, let's look ahead and dream big. We have to start out with the sad ones, the ones that are definitely not going to come true because they were written before Eloy had his injury. But I do want to still give a shout out to everybody that has left a comment and celebrate the year that could have been for Mr. Eloy Jimenez, a guy that we of course, will cheer for in his recovery and celebrate when he gets back. JG23 comes in with some specific numbers, which, to be honest, I don't think is even that much of a bold prediction. 47 home runs and have 104 RBIs. I think he had a chance to hit over 50 this year. He really, as a hitter, has come into his own. Some slightly good news. Initially, when Eloy went down with injury, they were giving him an estimate of 5 to 6 months he'd miss. Well, last one came out, said 4 to 5 months, and some other reporting I'm seeing is at least 4 months. Eloy, get better. We are looking forward to cheering you on the south side. Audrey Budig, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Bold prediction, the Royals will finish above the Indians in the Central, and Eloy will lead the AL in home runs. Definitely a fun, bold prediction. I don't know if Eloy would have been that much of a home run hitter. There's so many big hitters out there, but Eloy definitely would have been challenging for the home run lead. And I like the bold prediction about the Indians falling behind the Royals. They are a team, two teams on different trajectories lately. Indians are still expected to compete. However, I don't really know how they're going to be able to do that. Their outfield has not improved. Their pitching has not improved. Whereas the Royals, they've added Andrew Benintendi. They still have Whit Merrifield. The Royals also have lots of talented up-and-coming prospects that might begin to make an impact this year. So I see that as a possibility that the Royals will compete and even push past the Indians at some point. Ra also believes that Eloy would lead the American League in home runs. And another bold prediction is that Yoan will finish in the top 3 in MVP voting. As we'll see coming up, there's a lot of love for Yoan Moncada. Well-deserved. He looked so great in 2019, and he's been looking really good this spring as well. ML is really going for it with the bold prediction that Cease will lead starters with the fewest walks per 9 and in ERA. I love that. And Giolito, not Lynn or Keuchel, will lead the team in innings pitched. Oh, and Nick Madrigal, Mr. 3000, will get 200 hits. Okay, a lot of fun things to dive into here. First off, we're going to get into it more tomorrow, but Cease was dominant in his final spring training game, going 5 innings, striking out 11, and most importantly, issuing 0 walks. Really the best he's looked all spring. Hopefully he can bring that over into the regular season. Giolito leading the team in innings pitched, I think is a possibility. Lynn is a guy that you have to drag off the mound with a bulldozer. He does not want to stop pitching. He throws a lot of innings. And ML, you stole one of mine. I was going to pick Nick Madrigal to have 200 hits. I do have some of my own bold predictions that I will end off the video with, but yes, that was going to be one of mine, so I had to replace it and pick another one. Good ones all around. So Ben Castaneda, I'm going to have to give you a little guff, but I'll take some of the hit on this one because obviously I've been asking people for their bold predictions for a long time. You could say it's my fault for taking so long to get to these, but first, Ben Castaneda came in 1 month ago and said that Yoan will be fully recovered from COVID and have another breakout year like 2019, but it'll be better and he'll finish in the top 5 in MVP voting. So first off, Ben, gotta give you credit. You said this a month ago, so it's before spring training started, and we didn't know what we were gonna get out of Yoan yet, but obviously we see that he has been great. So remember, the guess was top 5 in MVP voting. Ben commented again just a week ago saying that Yoan will finish in the top 10 in MVP voting. So are you no longer believing as much in Yoan? JK Town, bold prediction, Giolito wins Cy Young, Tim Anderson wins MVP, and also Eloy leads the league with home runs, Robert gets a gold glove and 30 steals. I'm going to throw a bonus bold prediction out right now because I know nobody took this, but I've been wondering, will Luis become, I believe, the first White Sox ever to have a 30-30 season? Let's go ahead and just say yes. Make it fun, something to track. Giolito is a legit Cy Young candidate this year already going in, so that's not even a dark horse bold prediction type of thing. Tim Anderson winning MVP, I love that. I'm obviously a very biased, big fan of Tim Anderson, and I do believe he helps the team in a lot of ways, well beyond just what he does with the bat. He's a team leader in so many ways that MVP, yeah, let's go for it. Cuba makes a request that I do a prediction video on team MVP, Cy Young, etc. And that is something I'm going to do because, Ben, you requested it. I will make those my first short videos that I will post during the first week of the regular season. So yes, starting pretty soon. They'll be short 1-minute videos, and each video will cover one of the award predictions. Dominic Diliberti. Luis Robert will finish top 5 in MVP voting. That is a very bold prediction as somebody that will be playing his first full season in the big leagues. And obviously we know he's got the raw 5-tool talent. He's got that amazing skill set. He learned from last year. Top 5 in MVP voting, that's what makes it a great bold prediction. Black Sox 8. Moncada has a great bounce back year and will contend for MVP. Maverick O. I love the detailed guesses. Yo-Yo AL MVP with a 303 average, 35 home runs, 116 RBIs, and he ends the season batting in the 5-hole. So this is actually an interesting question, and of course this evolves over time. Where will Yoan bat in the lineup? I think you probably have Tim Anderson leading off, Adam Eaton in the 2 spot. Maybe Moncada bats 3, maybe it's Abreu, maybe Moncada bats in the 4 spot. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Sam Hatt has a good and a bad prediction for us. He likes what he saw with Nick Madrigal, and I feel like he'll prove all the naysayers wrong, and that the Sox will make a good decision to hold on to him. Nick will usurp, and yes, you are using the word correctly, the batting title from TA7, as well as make great strides defensively and finish in the top 5 for Gold Glove at second base. At first blush, that did seem like a very bold, like, whoa, better batting average than Tim Anderson? But actually I can see it. He is a great bat-to-ball contact hitter. As we know, he slaps the ball all around into the outfield. And Tim Anderson strikes out more often than Nick Madrigal. I mean, everybody strikes out more often than Nick Madrigal. And I've been very excited to see this spring. Nick Madrigal has looked amazing with the glove in the infield. I think any butterflies he had during his first taste of big league action, maybe he's past that stage and now he's just going to show us that he owns that side of the infield. He's been great. On the bad side, I think Giolito will regress a little bit. He won't become 2018 Giolito again, but I do feel like he will take a step back. I consider this a bold prediction because it seems like everyone and their mother is so high on Giolito, and I just don't see it. I think he is an ace on a bad team and a 2-3 pitcher on a good team. And we are a good team now. To fix this, the Sox will trade for another pitcher by the 4th of July, giving up a low-level prospect or two. I have to say, to some degree, I was on that line of thinking with you for a while, even through much of last season, that Giolito is a really, really good pitcher, but is he an ace? You could see it in my older videos, that I'm like, yeah, he's great, but he's not Nolan Ryan. He's not a dominator like Kershaw was in his prime. But I think Giolito is continuing to show me wrong, and maybe, who knows, maybe instead of regressing, he will take another step forward. I know some predictors over at Fangraphs think that Giolito and Cease both are guys that will take steps in the right direction moving forward. One thing that I really do love about actually both of those players is that they have a great head on their shoulders. They are very level-headed. I don't think they are the type of guys that get shaken easily, even though Cease has not been dominant at all. I think he does know how to keep himself centered, keep within himself. Those are the types of traits. Plus, of course, Giolito now has Ethan Katz, his previous coach, with him. So I think that will help him as well. I don't know. I really think highly of Giolito. I am happy to throw this back to you and say, Sam, you wrote this a month ago. Do you still think the same thing? If you do, that's fine. I'm not here to convince anybody. We'll let the season speak for itself. But I do know that I'm more of a believer in Giolito than I was even not all that long ago. James Erickson. I don't know if this is much of a bold take, but I'll go with it because he's so young. Nick Madrigal wins the batting title. And to make it bolder, I'll say he wins it by 25 points. I love that. And I love the cute picture. Definitely a Chicago Blackhawks family over there. Nick simply winning it would be a bold take just because he is so unproven, as you say. To win it by 25 points. Let's see, what is the biggest margin? It always seems like it's fairly close. I mean, just look at last year with DJ LeMahieu and Tim Anderson. Yeah, we're nowhere near with 25 points. In 1977, Rod Carew beat out Dave Parker by 50 points in the batting title. Bob Gottfried is also high on Nick Madrigal, saying he'll set the single-season hits record, eclipsing Ichiro's mark by 2. These bold predictions are awesome. I could not have come up with a lot of these myself. Yeah, I thought I was being bold, saying 200 hits for Nick. And it's also really great to see how many of you are also believers in Nick Madrigal. I know that there's, especially in the Twitterverse, there's a lot of people that think the Sox should just trade him. We need guys to get on base ahead of our home run hitters. And if anybody is trying to remember, as I was, what the hits record was, oh my gosh. I thought it was in the 230s. George Sisler in 1920 had 257 hits, and of course that was broken by Ichiro in 2004. He ended up with 262 hits. So this is calling for Madrigal to beat that record and post 264 hits on the season. Nikki, you got it in ya? Ben Koba did also make a prediction that Yo-Yo would be top 5 in MVP voting. Sam V says that his bold prediction is that Adam Eaton will bounce back and be the player we used to have before we traded into the Nationals. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in with one of my bold predictions now, since it is Adam Eaton related, and that is that Adam Eaton will be a fan favorite player this year on the South Side, and that fans will be clamoring for the White Sox to pick up his option that they have on him for the 2022 season. This is a bold prediction because, man, you guys remember how much everybody was pissed off when Adam Eaton was signed? But one thing I always said from the top was that Adam Eaton is going to be great in right field, and he's going to be a big upgrade over Nomar Mazara. That said, I didn't know if he had anything left in the bat, and so far this spring, he's looked pretty good. He's looked like a very solid Nick Madrigal type of hitter. And again, getting players on base in front of the home run hitters is going to be a very big part of this team's offense. He still has the wheels, too, to steal a base, which will make some pitchers lose their focus. They might be pitching to Jose Abreu, but they're really watching what Adam Eaton is doing over on first base. And if we can help Jose get a couple of easier hits that turn into 400-foot home runs, I am all for it. Dylan Barnes has bold predictions that Nick Madrigal will lead the team in batting average. So one more person saying that he'll pass TA. Even though he's got TA as his avatar, Moncada is a better version of his 2019 self and is a top 3 in MVP voting. TA wins the Gold Glove. Okay, now that one, Tim Anderson makes some spectacular plays in the field. He also lets some things drop. And we've seen both just in the past week. The point of this is to be bold. So that is an absolutely fantastic bold prediction. Andrew Ferris has a feeling that Lance Lynn... Okay, here we go, Debbie Downer. I have a feeling that Lance Lynn will be a bust and have an ERA over 650. I do have trepidation long-term over this trade, sending away Dane Dunning for Lance Lynn because, hey, we had 5 years of control left over Dane Dunning. We're only going to get 1 year of Lance Lynn. But I really do think Lance Lynn will be a great stabilizing force in this bullpen. He is a guy that is a tank. As we know, he throws a lot of innings, and usually I'm weary about picking up players like that have a lot of miles on them. But this is a guy that's used to throwing 200 innings, and last year was a very short season, and obviously the Rangers didn't make the playoffs last year, so his arm should be pretty fresh. Maybe my bold prediction is that Andrew Ferris will be off by double, and Lance Lynn will end up with an ERA of 3.25. Mateo de la Cruz Acevedo says, the Marlins will trade Luis Brinson for Mike Trout, and the Angels will end up winning the trade, LOL. It's a joke, but it's fun, so I kept it in. Now, before heading into the rest of my bold predictions, I want to give a massive shout out and thank you for all of the commenting and education that Cuba Dugout has been giving us. Head on over to the Cuba Dugout channel or cubadugout.com. He has been doing player profiles lately on all sorts of Cuban players, including Jose Abreu, which we know a lot about him, but it's always fun to hear more. Norge Vera, I can't wait to watch that one. I see that one posted recently. The Luis Robert player profile went up a few weeks ago, and that's fantastic. I've got links in this description. And really keep checking back on the videos on this page because he ends up getting into some really fun conversations with you. And this is a guy that flies down to Cuba. He knows the players. He knows that world a lot better than most of us. This is not a paid sponsor, but he is a good part of our community. So I want to give a shout out to every awesome member of our community. So now let's get to my bold predictions. First off, let's go league-wide. Last year, we saw so many games postponed due to COVID, which led to 1 billion doubleheaders. I don't know what percentage of the games last year existed as doubleheaders, but there were a lot. My very bold prediction is that there will be no postponement due to COVID this year. Not a single game will be lost to COVID, which, who knows? That might go bust in the first day, but I'm hoping for the best. Another hoping for the best, and this is a very bold prediction, is that Carlos Rodon will stay healthy this year. Now, he might not finish the season still in the White Sox starting rotation, but of course we've seen that he has been pitching so well this spring, and I think he'll do okay, but eventually I think Michael Kopech will usurp him, to use that word for the second time in this video. Dylan Cease will end up being the 3rd best player in our starting staff. I don't think anybody's going to unseat Lucas Giolito, but Dylan Cease will become more effective than either Keuchel or Lynn. We'll see. But I do think Cease is going to take a huge step forward this year. And my only bold prediction that involves statistics is that Liam Hendriks will set a new Chicago White Sox single-season saves record, beating Bobby Thigpen's 57 saves. Here's a fun, insane, mind-blowing fact. that year, 1990, like you think of the great Sox teams, and you think of 94, 83, of course, 05, and 2000, 2003. You don't think of 1990. The White Sox had 94 wins that year. They had the second most wins in the American League, and only one National League team had more wins, and they didn't make the playoffs. Of course, that was back when there was only 2 divisions per league and no wildcard teams. Yeah, the expanded playoffs is a definite improvement. 94 wins and he missed the playoffs? And so finally, just to bookend this video with Eloy predictions, Eloy, he will come back, and the bold prediction is that he will be a playoff MVP. It's never too late to make a bold prediction. Feel free to throw more ideas into the comments here, and I'll be back tomorrow to do one final look back at spring training and take a look at the White Sox roster for opening day.